Alright, I want to get in the habit of recording more of these kinds of recap videos, mostly so things stay fresh in my mind, but here's all the stuff that I was up to in January, featuring all the games that I played and completed, and some other stuff thrown in there as well. The first game I want to talk about is Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Now, this is a game from the developers of Borderlands, and I've been a Borderlands fan since the very first game. And I've played all of those, including the pre-sequel. My wife and I have cooperatively played a bunch of those games, and we decided to give Wonderlands a go recently, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun in the way that it was not Borderlands, but it was Borderlands. You still got a lot of weapons, you still got a lot of upgrades and loot to find. The encounters were similar, but with very different environments and enemies and characters. I should mention the voice acting was really great because, of course, Tiny Tina was there. Ashley Birch, you might know her as Aloy as well. Very different character. And there were also some A-list voice casts. Will Arnett as the Dragon Lord. We had Andy Samberg and Wanda Sykes as the other player characters of this D&D campaign. Yourself, the player, and Andy and Wanda's characters are playing a D&D type game in the Borderlands universe. And the overworld of the game in Wonderlands is actually the game board that they're playing on. You see Cheetos, you see dice, you see all kinds of stuff, little set pieces. It's the game board that they're using. And that was really cool. The one downside to playing cooperatively, obviously, it was a great experience to be able to play cooperatively on the couch next to my wife, and they had to scrunch the UI to fit in half of a screen. And once we saw the compromises that had to be made, we pulled out and saw that on a single screen, it's so much more readable and usable. The UI made a lot more sense. It was a little bit of a pain to play in cooperative mode. In that sense, you had to keep clicking into menus to see your item types or stats. That was a little annoying, but otherwise we really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to see what that team comes out with next. Another game that I finished and actually discovered and finished in the short amount of time that was this month of January was called Gravity Circuit. Now, this game wasn't on my radar until I heard about it from someone else's Games of the Year list. So I immediately went to look at it, and once I saw the footage, I was like, I need this game. This is a game for me. It's the most Mega Man X game you can possibly imagine without it being Mega Man X. The style, the graphics, the music, the stages, the setup, the layout, everything, it's just screaming Mega Man X, which is, for me, it's awesome. I loved it. The combat is melee focused instead of projectile focused, but in other words, it's what you'd expect from a Mega Man game. You have 8 stages with 8 bosses 8 bosses to finish, and then you get to the final stages. You have refights with the bosses. You have a climactic ending with the final boss. It's just, the setup is very similar, and they did it so well. You have different characters to meet. You have upgrades to find. What was interesting is that, similar to Mega Man, you have upgrades that you get from the bosses that you defeat. In this game, you do get those in a sense, but they're all different types of, I think they call them burst abilities. So they're abilities that you can fire off if you have enough energy or meter or whatever, and they mimic, or they're kind of related to the moves that they use in their own boss fight. You have to upgrade them or unlock them, buy them to use them, but you get resources and collectibles and chips, little computer chips, and there's other upgrades you can get too, that you can actually swap out any of your upgrades and abilities at any point during a stage, during the menu. You can swap things out and give yourself a double jump. You can give yourself fall damage protection. You can give yourself spike taking less damage from spikes or from enemy projectiles, or there are ways for you to customize your experience, which is also great if you're not as adept at these types of games. Once you've beaten up an enemy enough, they they're put into a state where you can grab them and then throw them. And that was really cool too, because you could finish off other enemies by throwing enemies you've already beaten up into the next enemy. So that was cool too. I can't say enough good things about the game. It's a lot of fun. You should try it. I don't know if there's a demo, but you should try it if you are inclined for those, older Mega Man types of experiences. It nails pretty much it on every level. Next up is a game that I really, really love and have not played in a long time until this remake of Super Mario RPG arrived late last year, and I finally got to it and finished it recently. But the main game, it's just a charming game, great characters, incredible music. The rearranged music is stellar. It's a great experience to hear the new arrangements. And you can swap back and forth between the old music or the new music. It's got pretty basic RPG mechanics. It's got good tutorials. If you're a new RPG player, you won't get lost. You won't. There's not a way to get sidetracked. I mean, you can get sidetracked on different side games or mini games, but it's gonna direct you right to the next thing. There's a marker on the map. You can fast travel now, which is incredible. It's simplistic, but it's also a lot of fun. And they added the triple moves, where 3 characters come together, and there's different moves for different combinations of characters. You have Mario, you have Mallow, you have Peach, you have Bowser, and you have, of course, everyone's favorite, Geno. And they're all great. I love them all. And so many side characters and NPCs that you encounter are just funny and have goofy lines and inside jokes, or whatever there is. There's so many things to love about that game. It won't take you very long to finish. I don't know how long it took me exactly, probably less than 20 hours. It's a very succinct experience, and this was a great way to revisit this experience and to enjoy Super Mario RPG again. It is literally the Super Nintendo game, so there are some weirdness. There's some weirdness in some spots where they recreated some things that are kind of cumbersome or janky about the original game, but otherwise they did a great job with this transition to a new format and great graphics, and it just looks great all around. So I would check it out if you're at all interested or have never tried an RPG before. Let's see, other games I'm playing that I haven't finished yet, but I put some time into. One I put a lot of time into and still not done with is Final Fantasy 16. That's a game that I had not a lot of familiarity with. I've tried some of the other games. The only other Final Fantasy game I have actually completed is Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin. Not exactly that kind of game. Well, it is similar to that game. That's not a Final Fantasy game, though. I get that. It is in name only. And this game is a mainline Final Fantasy game, but it is that in name only a Final Fantasy game. It's a character action game. So I've been enjoying it. The story is interesting enough. The gameplay is great. I'm looking forward to seeing how it finishes up, and you'll hear more next month. And not at all least, but maybe last, I did start Sea of Stars. I've heard great things about that game. The mechanics of it seem really cool. Haven't gotten very far in it. Garl is already the best boy, though. Very much looking forward to seeing the wonderful, world that they've created with that game. I've heard nothing but good things, so very much looking forward to finishing that one up. As I'm recording this, I'm about to head out of town for my birthday, so that's happening soon, and I will catch up with you all in next month's update video for February. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see anything else on the channel. I've got a few other things in the works. Some secret videos, maybe a lightning round video, and I could show you more of this studio space that I'm working with. But let me know, and I'll see you in next month's video.